Welcome to the Wednesday Call Live. Now, let's hear it for our host, Adam Katz.
Hello, Alliance Nation. I think we're ready. Hey, guys, we are so excited to be talking to you today. Honored to be able to host the call. Always humbled by the fact that Andy and Jane Albright trust us, talking to his whole team, talking to the whole country. We have a slam-packed show today for you guys. Just a couple quick reminders about some stuff coming up. We have a couple big events. Andy Albright is hitting the road. We have the West Coast Swing, May 28th, 29th, and 30th over in Anaheim, California. So all those folks who are on the West Coast, west of the Mississippi, west of the Rocky Mountains, all that area, this is your chance to have a localized event that you don't have to fly all the way across the country to come to. So it's going to be 3 days of intense training with Andy Albright and some of the top leaders of the Alliance. I believe Abian's going to be there, and Riddle is going to be there, and Leventovich is going to be there. Davies is going to be there. It's going to be a phenomenal meeting. You do not want to miss that if you are on the West Coast. By the way, it's not exclusive to the West Coast. If you're on the East Coast and just want to go, you are more than welcome to fly out to Anaheim and participate in that one also. The Albright Intensive is coming up. That's going to be May 19th, the week of May 19th. That's going to be 5 days of intense training with Andy Albright and his staff, and a lot of the top leaders. New Integrity Partners are going to be part of it. It's just going to be an incredible training. We had a number of people that went to the last one a couple months ago, and they are on fire coming out of that intense training. And so if you got people that need to notch up the intensity in their business, and they're willing to invest the time, the money, the energy to go there, I would encourage you to get their registrations in, get their applications in. They have to apply to get there, but get their applications in for that. I also know we're doing a meeting in Baltimore, Maryland area. It's actually going to be Owings Mills, but that is going to be an exciting meeting on the 24th and 25th of May, where Andy Albright is gassing up the jet. He's going to fly up there to be with a couple of the leaders that are on this call, and their teams. And it's just a fun time to be in business right now. Momentum is through the roof. Our organization has just exploded, in no small part to the people that we have on this call. We give honor and glory to God. This is, we always prayed for growth that could only be explained by God's hand on our business, and that is what we have been having. And so we're so blessed for it, so humbled by it, so thankful for it. And we don't take any credit. We're just trying to be good stewards, and try and be a good servant leader, and serve the people on our teams. So it's exciting in terms of all of that. And just, I don't want to get too much into specific numbers. I'll get into specific numbers when I introduce our guest today. But a lot of the business has come through the Index Universal Life product line. And this is not a product training call. We've done those. F&G has done a lot of those, and we have some great carrier partners that we love to use. But we're going to talk more philosophy and strategies about why IULs, how they prospect, how they use it to recruit, and how they use it to move up the levels chart and qualify for the trips. And in fact, I want to give a shout out to my buddy down in Houston, Texas. Jeremiah Adaki is the second qualifier for the trip to Thailand. And it's just incredible. We're only in April. We're still in April. and Eric Belair was the first qualifier, and now Jeremiah Adaki is the second qualifier. Linda Goebel is all over it. She's actually number 2 in the company in production, and she just needs one or two more applications to hit. The volume is already there. It's just momentum. The alliance is riding a wave of momentum, and what I would encourage you to do is take some notes on today's TWC, because they're going to share some tips and they're going to share some nuggets with you about how you can go from making your average annual premium $800 to $1,000 annualized premium to turning it into $800 to $1,000 monthly premium. Okay. And when you understand the full weight of what this product can do and the passion that all 4 of our guests have about this product. And that's what I need everybody to understand, because everybody's always like, what's their secret? Well, what are these folks doing different than everybody else? If you've ever heard any of these folks talk about the product and hear the conviction in their voice and the passion in their heart about the product and what impact it will have on their clients' families, people can't help but want to buy it. They can't help themselves, because first of all, it's a phenomenal product. But you got, one of the things I would tell you is this: quit trying to sell it through pure logic and start selling it through conviction and passion. You use logic as well. Don't get me wrong. They lay out a compelling case on why you'd be not smart to not have this product for yourself and your family and your children and your grandchildren. But it's the conviction and the passion and the 100% belief that this is what everybody needs to have that drives their business. So I don't want to yak too much about it, because I want you guys to hear from these leaders and everything that's going on. I think we're bringing on Ann Tendong and Adebayo Asogba. I believe I said those names correctly. Excellent. So there, we got them both here. And I do want to clarify this for the nation. Not everybody that is part of this organization is from Nigeria. We have people from all different countries throughout Africa that are leading the team and leading the nation in these IULs and all of that. So I wanted to clarify that as well, and make sure everybody understood that we are a very multicultural organization and that incorporates many different nations in the great continent of Africa. So Adebayo, let's start with you. Let me just kind of give a few of his highlights in terms of production. He's kind of out by himself on the West Coast. He's not part of the hub of Houston or the hub of Baltimore, where a lot of our agents are working through. He's kind of out there in San Jose area on the West Coast, but he has already paid over $60,000 of annual premium. You talk about a servant leader and a heart to lead. He has recruited a tremendous number of people, and you're going to see his team production just shoot up like a rocket over the next 90 days. I know what he's laying the foundation of, but he's also just an incredible human being. So Adebayo, if you would, before we get into the IUL stuff, if you would just kind of tell us a little bit about your background, tell us a little bit about your family, how long you've been in the United States, and your education background, and what you do full time.
Thank you, Adam. It's nice to meet everybody on this panel, and it's a blessing to be part of the Alliance family. And first and foremost, I love the way Mr. Adam do it. I want to give all the glory to God, taking suit after you, because one of the things that gives me joy on Alliance is the fact that we are able to share our faith. We are not afraid to let people know that we love God, and we are not hiding And I thank God for leaders on this platform. Thank God for people like Dr. Jeremiah Daki, who brought me on through Sister Mrs. Stella Mwabunike, Pastor Kyle Delule. Awesome. Now, I came to this country 12 years ago. I'm a married man. I'm a pastor, and I have 4 kids, and also with my niece living with me, raising 5 kids here in the United States of America. And I'm also a pastor. I pastor Jesus House, Silicon Valley of the Redeemed Christian Church of God in San Jose. And so we are in the Silicon Valley, in the Bay Area, one of the most expensive zip code to ever live in the United States of America. It's crazy. But when I came in, I studied physics and for my first degree, and then I know I had the call of God upon my life, and also I have a bachelor's in theology, master's in theology, and a PhD in theology, which I don't often normally use. But Mr. Adam said, for me, my passion is about loving God and knowing God and making people to know Him and to show forth His power and His demonstration and to be able to change life. So when I came into Alliance, so I see it as a blessing. So for me, it is a blessing to be in this place because it aligns, not just the name Alliance, it's also aligned. So I think Alliance is prophetic for me. So the name Alliance aligned with the vision, and part of the vision for me is in this business, when people ask me, what do you do? I tell them, I say life. They say, what kind of life? I said, blessed life assurance and blessed life insurance. So whichever way, you can't go wrong. I secure you here on earth, and I secure you in the days to come.
That is awesome. That is awesome. I will tell you, for those of you who aren't familiar with Stella's organization, Stella and her husband Anthony Nwabunike, we'll be meeting Stella in a few minutes. They are, and I actually read this in a Malcolm Gladwell book. I was not aware of this when I first started working with this whole organization. But Nigerians per capita have the most advanced degrees of any ethnic group in the United States. So my new favorite game has become how many degrees do you have when I'm talking to a lot of the folks throughout this organization. I mean, just the caliber of people. And what I will tell you as we're getting ready to introduce Ann is this: when you're dealing with a high caliber of people, it is so much easier to have the conversations that need to be had, because you can move on past the low level stuff and get to the important stuff. And don't get me wrong, the low level stuff needs to be handled too. One of the things we've always talked about is don't sweat the small stuff. That doesn't mean don't do the small stuff. You still have to do it. You're just not supposed to lose your mind over it. But the caliber, the quality of people that we work with here is just through the roof. So thank you, Adebayo, for sharing that, and and congratulations on all your successes already. And we'll get back to you in just a minute. But Ann, same thing. If you wouldn't mind, kind of introduce yourself to the Alliance. Same type questions: background, family, and how long you've been in the United States.
Okay, my name is Ann Kendall. I have been in the United States for 10 years. I'm a mother. I'm a grandmother. I was a mother of 4 boys. I still count them. I'm a grandmother of 4. So 3 girls, 1 boy. And my first degree was in law and political sciences. My second was master in criminology. Then I went ahead and I backed a master in human resource management. Then, seems as if we keep going, right?
Right.
I backed another master's degree in social work and an embedded degree in trauma.
We like to say you got more degrees than a thermometer.
Yeah, I started my PhD that I put a hold because of this financial business. So I come from Cameroon. I'm kind of a melting pot. because I'm bilingual. So most of the time when I talk, I'll put in some French words. So that is me. And I live in Baltimore, Maryland, precisely in Owens Mills.
Excellent, excellent. And to be crystal clear, folks, I do want to make this very clear. I only have a bachelor's. Okay. To be clear, I have 1 degree. But there are so many people who are extremely successful in the Alliance with no degrees. You do not need to have advanced degrees and all of this. I only ask them to talk about that just to show you the caliber and credibility of the people that we're working with in this organization. But please, if you don't have, we used to always say from Yale to jail. You can, if you have a dream and you have a work ethic, you can be successful here. And so, we have a lot of military people who never did any college, and they are crushing it here at the Alliance. And we appreciate their service to the country. We have a lot of people who come from different trades and just went straight into the workforce. So I don't want anybody on this call to feel like, all I have is my GED, or I barely got out of high school. You're fine. You're fine. I just wanted to say that as we get deeper into the conversation. All right. So, obviously you guys have diverse backgrounds, very well educated, degrees and opportunities in what most people would say are very opportunistic industries. What is it that caught your attention about the financial industry? Why did you get into the financial industry, and why are you passionate about it? And we'll start with you. We'll kind of bounce back and forth.
Okay. Being in the financial industry is a need. This is something that will never fade. People have this need. Until you meet somebody, then you know that they have this need. So providing this service has left my head to my heart. Why? I started looking for life insurance when I lost my son. So I saw the need to protect the living ones and myself. And fast forward, this got me to this level. And I decided that I will not stop until every family is protected. Why? Because I went through probate laws. So I know how it hurts. And where I come from, we don't know how to beg. We are kind of self-sufficient. And community is something very big for us. When something happens to A, we gather together. But going through GoFundMe is not something we want for our community. So I think the need is there. And the good thing is that the money also is really soft. And you can live the type of life you want. We all want to live a baby girl's lifestyle. So doing this business for me, I have time to spend with my kids. I have time to bond with my grandkids. In short, I can just pick my bag and go anywhere, and I work from anywhere. So this is something that is doable. And the funniest thing, I went to school, have all those degrees. I'm not even using it, right? You want to add another degree for how much? $10 or $15. And you back yourself a lot of student loans. So this is, if anybody is on this call and is not putting their legs down on this business, then I don't know what to tell you. I hope I'm talking to somebody today, because this is a dream. In Africa, we call it oil money. So this is really the oil and gas money that you can do. And helping families comes with a joy in your heart.
Awesome. We call that win-win. Where you're helping the family and you're also being financially rewarded for it. Doing good while doing well. Awesome. Yeah, I love it. That's great. So, Adebayo, same thing. Obviously, you have a background more in the ministry. So how did financial services kind of fit in with your ministerial, pastoral background and philosophies?
Thank you, Mr. Adam. I think I also want to just take a cue from what Miss Anna just said. I tell you something. Sometimes not just the financial aspect of this business, which for me is very interesting, and I love what Ms. Ann said, is like you being in the oil industry, this is where you make the money, but the fact that you are also able to experience what this industry is talking about, because when she was talking about losing somebody and also going through probate court, usually you will not be able to sell and prosper in this business until you have been a partaker of the suffering of what people are going through and getting to know men. What we're talking about in the alliance, or whether in the any insurance business, this is not a scam. This is about yourself. This is about your family. And so when that becomes a reality to you, that this is about giving life, caring for people, being able to bring them protection. So for me as a pastor, I tell you, while I preach Christ to save the souls of people from going to eternal damnation. So life insurance is also me preaching prosperity and security and enjoyment for you on, so that you don't go through hell while you are here on earth. Why should you suffer twice? You don't need to pay for the same estate twice. You need to make sure you enjoy life and also enjoy it in eternity. And here's the thing about us who are Christian, which I found out that most of the time we become I would say scripturally stupid, because we think that the blood of Jesus, the name of Jesus save us, he healed us, he delivered us. Yes, that is true. It does that for you spiritually. But when you are going through issues with the probate court, the blood of Jesus will not come down to do that for you. When you don't have a financial background of and life insurance, the blood of Jesus is not going to pay your medical bill. So the truth is that you got to be wise. So now one of the things that this financial business have done for me is to begin to make me to put a little twist on my gospel and trying to tell believers, you don't need to be spiritually stupid. We need to begin to get into the place of critical thinking. So I say this to my people all the time. Spirituality is not the absence of common sense. And common sense is not the absence of spirituality. You got to balance the two together so you can enjoy the life that is now, the good life that is to come. So me getting into this business, just like Miss Ann said, I love what Miss Ann said, because for me, I discovered that even in America, you have all the degree, you are not making all the money. The kind of money I have seen in Alliance with all the degree, I've not seen it on a job. I mean, it's crazy. So sometimes I tell my kids, why do you go? You study, you have all these masters, and I ask them, how much are you being paid? And you hear people saying $28 an hour, $40 an hour. How are you going to make a living with that? When you come to this place and boom, if God is on your side, man, the numbers are looking good. Hope is rising. So I call Alliance, my hope is rising in God, and it's also rising in the business. And you see, for me as a Nigerian man, and from Nigeria, I want to tell you, so when you're talking to me about business, I'm not interested in the story. Show me the moolah. When we say show me the moolah, I'm telling you, show me the money. So when you show me the money, and there's something that Alliance is doing now, when you go on the app, oh boy, I love this new projection they put on the hack, that will be because of your production, they're giving you projection. Okay, if you keep going this way, you're going to make like $100,000 a year. If you keep going this way, Apostle Adaki was showing me that app. When I saw Apostle Adaki projection, I said, man, guy, I'm coming after you, man. That will be the next person to hit that number. I don't care what it takes, but we will get there. You understand? So that is the joy, that is the hope, that not only are we here to make money, the fact that we're protecting life, the fact that we are trying to save people from going through probate court, the fact that we are trying to save people from giving a better life to themselves is the joy that I have in this business. And the last thing to say for me, when I talk to people who are Christian, I tell them, if you cannot be disciplined to pay tithes, you cannot have life insurance. It takes discipline to give to yourself, give to God and give to yourself. So when you can't even give to God, how are you going to give to yourself? So I'm going to teach you to save yourself now on tomorrow so that you don't have to pay it. And so that's how it has been for me joining the Alliance.
Awesome. Awesome. Thank you. And I know you've already moved a couple of estate plans, implemented a couple of estate plans through our partnership with Integrated Trust Systems, and that is the best way to avoid probate. Obviously, IULs and the insurance products have beneficiaries, so that money goes directly to. But if you really want to avoid the whole mess of probate, then the estate planning partnership we have with Integrated Trust Systems is incredible. And they're working on getting us resources that we can do more of those things on a one-on-one basis, not having to do the full seminar to talk about the estate plan, but to be able to reach out to our clients on a one-on-one basis and do a short presentation. I will say we need more people implementing these estate plans through ITS across the Alliance. It should be, if you're helping clients, then you want to add that to your portfolio as well. Okay, so good stuff. So we understand why you're in the industry itself. So why IULs? What's special about the product of the Index Universal Life that has kind of hit your hot button and gets you guys so motivated about it? Adebayo, why don't you go first on that question?
So for me, I think one of the reasons why I think I love the IUL is ability for the IUL to be able to have cash accumulation values, and the fact that it's more or less you creating a personal bank for yourself. And if you are faithful in paying your premium, not only are you having a very good, great death benefit, which is the face amount of any amount you're taking for your policy, but the fact that you see the cash value growing, and every time you log into the portal, you create an account for yourself, and you are able to see the money you have and the loan amount you can take out, that creates a lot of joy within you. And because it saves you from going on through, let's say you're trying to get a loan from the bank to do some business for yourself. Now, it saves you from a crazy interest rate from the bank. 2, it saves you a lot of time from doing a lot of stupid paperwork. 3, it's your money. You get it, you want to pay back, good for you. You don't pay back, good for you. The benefit is that at the end of the day, why I love IUL is that it's not just about the death benefit, it's about the living benefit. So I can enjoy my money while I'm still alive and leave the rest for my children. So when I'm gone, I don't know what they're going to do with the money, but the one that I enjoy here. So that's why the Bible says in the book of Ecclesiastes, it said, it is good for a man to live and enjoy and have good life here. So once you enjoy your life there, that is all. Once you are gone, whatever your children are doing with the money, you don't know. So IUL help me to enjoy life again and also live good life for the family. So the post value accumulation, the ability to take money out and without you having to pay them, or you want to pay them, I think that's a good one for me.
Awesome. So it's be your own banker. That I know that's big on TikTok these days, and the reels on Instagram and Facebook, and those things. There's talking about that infinite banking system. They're talking about be your own banker. And yeah, if you're going to have to borrow money, why not borrow it from yourself? Pay yourself the interest, and create that cash accumulation, that tax-free cash accumulation that you can spend and enjoy while you're here. We like to phrase it as life insurance you don't have to die to use. You don't have to, those living benefits that are so powerful for people. And same thing, what is it about IULs that has you so passionate about the product itself?
Well, we all know what life insurance stands for. So growing up, everybody knows that you have to die for somebody to eat what you suffer for. And with IUL, it's different. So IUL is not death insurance, it's life insurance. So the fact that the premium will remain the same. If you take a policy for your granddaughter, like what I did, the premium will remain the same until they grow old like myself. That's one thing that is encouraging is that. Then, getting to use your money while you are alive and building generational wealth. You get a policy for your child. You don't have to leave your child a house or anything. That's a very big gift. You just supercharge it. Tax-free aspect of it is phenomenal. Why? When in our country, in my country, Cameroon, when you go and buy, you don't pay taxes. They say $1, you buy the thing for $1. But when I came here, it was different. They say something is $10, then plus tax, 6%. That was not, I did not welcome that really well. So having to grow your money with no tax, then the best piece of it, the living benefits, not to talk about income for life. The income for life aspects and knowing what the 401k, how it is behaving in the stock market. So your OH is guaranteed. Anything you put in that policy, you end up getting every dime back. Then you start consuming your death benefits. So that one was the killer for me. So let me say is it Terry Edwards? He said, if you don't have life insurance, we go to hell. I would say, if you don't have IUL, you are going to hell. Thank you, Adam.
That's awesome. So what I will tell you guys is this: as we've started doing more of the estate planning stuff, and we're really talking to people who are heading into retirement or already retired, or they see it on the horizon. The number one fear of seniors as they age is the fear of outliving their money. And a lot of times when you're talking to seniors, it's a little late in the game to start worrying about that, because now we're trying to get what they've accumulated to last the rest of their lives. But as we're talking to people younger in the prime of their lives, having that same conversation, because they're eventually going to be seniors, they're eventually going to be retired, and they're eventually going to have that same fear of outliving their money. And the idea that having a product like Ann was talking about, that you can create a lifetime income stream through this product is just phenomenal, and it's just one more step in the retirement program. I read this. I read this somewhere, and what it said is this: people without income streams, whether it's pension plans or whether it's Social Security or annuity income streams or IUL income streams. In retirement, if all they have is a pot of money, then in retirement, they average spending about $51,000 a year, living on $51,000 a year. Whereas people who have these income streams, like the IUL income stream or an annuity income stream, along with their Social Security and things like that, they average spending closer to $70,000 a year. Their lifestyle is 40% better, because they don't feel like they're decreasing, they're depleting their asset. Whereas if you just have a pond of money, every time you pull from it, you feel like it's depleting. But if you have these flows, and that's what Andy has always talked about with the Alliance, which is, you want a river. You want to be a river. You don't want to be a pond. You don't want a pond of money. You want money flowing through, which kind of gets us to the next step of how are you building your organization? How are you recruiting? How do you prospect finding these people? Because the number one question that most people have is this: how are you finding people that are willing to put $800 a month, $1,000 a month, $1,500 a month into these IULs? And it's not a one-off for any of these four people we're talking to today. This is something they consistently find. So what are you doing to network or to prospect? And then how do you use that also to recruit and build your agency?
Kim, should I go?
Yeah, go ahead, Ann. Tia Adebayo is back, if you can promote him again.
So how do I find my people?
Mm-hmm.
Everybody needs this product. So we just talk to everybody. And the way you talk matters. reading the 8 steps of success, the first number 1 is what? Personal use. You can't give what you don't have.
Yes.
So I own $2.5 million policy. So when I show you my policies and you see how the money is accumulating, and 7 to 15% annually, it makes you want to do it. So how do we recruit? Same thing. Anybody who has an eye, finger, who can talk, can walk, is a prospect. You will never tell who has that money. Everybody can afford it. It depends how the need, whether the need is pressing. Now, there's this question we used to ask. Between a car, a house, and a policy, which one should come first? After you've done your presentation to your client, they will tell you a policy should come first, because from that policy, you can buy a car and you can buy a house. So it depends who you are talking to. And me, if I own that, people like measuring themselves. They use people as a measuring rod. Do I have 2 heads? I'm 5'3". Even though in my mind, I'm 5'6". I'm 6'4". In my mind, I'm 6'4". So when you put it to them, they'll be like, if she can do it, I can do it. Then when you finish getting them the product, you ask them if they are allergic to money. Most people say, no, I'm not allergic to money. Can I show you how to get a side hustle? Everybody will say yes. And you know the good thing? When you own a business like this, we write off taxes. So our presentation, the way we look, the way we talk, and the way we are excited with the product will make anyone who comes face to face with us to want to own one. You can't be talking about money and looking like you've been fighting with your dog. No. You should look like money to attract money. That trust, the rapport, that is what is pushing us.
So I can assume then you didn't dress up just for this call. This is how you go out in public, because you are attracting money all the time. This is lifestyle. I love it. I love it. And my guess is you're also going to places where people have money as well. You're not, although people have money everywhere. So it's not even so much that. Here's if I could kind of summarize what she just said. It's talk to everyone. Don't prejudge. Let them decide. And I love, the side hustle piece. This is so much better than DoorDash or driving Uber or getting a second shift job at a factory or something like that. It's just incredible. And the idea that which is more important, your life, your house, or your car. I loved how you said that, Ann. How is it you're sitting out there with an $800 a month car payment and you're not putting $800 a month into your universal life policy? Well, I never thought about it that way. You're sitting out there with a $3,000 mortgage payment and you're only putting $200 a month towards your retirement in the IUL. Thank you. That right there just changed my whole thinking on everything about that. So Adebayo, same thing. How do you use the product? How do you prospect? I flew out to San Jose, did a meeting with Adebayo, and there were like 30 people in the room, and I think all of them were doctors or had doctorates. So obviously, how are you finding people? How do you find people like that, and then how do you also leverage it into recruiting them for the opportunity?
Thank you. I think for me, one of the most important thing was a key point that Miss Ann just talked about. How do you sell what you don't use? How do you sell what you don't have? So for me, that has become a game changer for me, because when I was introduced to this by Dr. Jeremiah Taki some 2.5 years ago, the first policy I bought for myself was $1 million policy. And at the time I bought the policy, I was 52. And so just imagine how much I'm going to be paying for $1 million policy at the age of 52 is $1,882 every month. Now you're going to ask me, are you crazy to put $1,882 in a policy, money you're not going to see for some years? But when every time I open my order and I see that accumulation, that triggers something in me. I tell myself I'm saving for the raining day. And I love what Mr. Adam said. He said, when you have people who have these policies, and by the time they get into the retirement, their lifestyle, their living is 40 times better, 40% time better than people who don't have it. So how would you like to live 100% better than other people? So for me, I just keep adding more. So when I saw that, I added another $1 million. So I have $2 million for myself. And then I added $500,000 for my wife. And then I added another 250, making 2.750. Then for each of my children, I have $500,000 policy for each one of them. I just added one and make my girl and my boy, the last one, I just made their policy $1 million each. No, see, you can't be too wrong when something is good. So for me, from the country where I came from, there is a particular tribe. When you tell them, oh, you are having backache, you are having headache, and then he tell you I'm having headache or I'm having backache, and they say, oh, can you go and use Tylenol? He's going to ask you, have you used it before? He said, no. When Mr. Adam had headache, he used Tylenol, he works. He said, no, I'm not going to do it. But tell him, oh, when I had headache, I use Tylenol and ibuprofen. He will tell you, give me two bottles, meaning I can relate with you. And for me as a pastor, it brings me to what the Bible says about Jesus. We do not have an high priest who cannot be touched with the feelings of my infirmities. I want somebody I can relate to. Show me what you are doing. Show me what you are. So that becomes number one, how for me to prosper, because I'm not just talking to them, I'm showing them what I have. Number two, I ask people don't care so much about you until they know how much you cares about them. So I keep telling people, look, and I use one of my favorite scripture is Ruth chapter 3 verse 1 and 2, that now he said unto Ruth, my daughter, should I not seek rest for you, that it might be well with you? And I tell people, every parent, every father, every mother, you want the best life for your children. Just listen to Miss Ann's testimony. She's a mother, she's a grandmother. She does not want her children to suffer, neither her grandchildren. Every day she's thinking, what can I do? Now, once you cross age 50, you're thinking about legacy. Because how much money are you going to spend when you are on that? I can't sleep in 2 bedrooms at the same time. So right now I'm thinking legacy. My children, my grandchildren, I used to joke with my wife, when my children begin to have kids, I want to have a bed, which is not just a king size. I want to have double king size. I want my grandchildren jump on my bed, roll, and let's go out and play with grandpa. Now, if we don't have that good life, I need to have some solid money. And then I think IUL is one of the ways I can secure myself, secure my wife, secure my children and my grandchildren. Now, the third thing, I show people how much better life do you want to live. And I can give you this. I have testimony, real fat testimony. In 2019, there is a lady, the husband died in New York. And the man had diabetes, the leg was amputated. And the man was, so while the man was taken in ambulance and the wife was crying, and he told the wife, don't worry, I got life insurance. When I die, you are going to be paid $300,000. The wife was excited. But when the man died, the insurance company sent the woman $35. I'm not exaggerating. $35. So they told me, I said, no, that can be. At the time, I've not started this business. So 2020, we flew to, myself and my wife, we flew into New York to go and commiserate with this lady. And she showed me, I said, no, this can't be. So I called somebody who was in the business, who was selling me whole life and term life then. And the person said, that can't be true. I said, okay, let me see what they have. I sent a document to this dude, and the dude called me back and started laughing. He said, Pastor, do you know what this woman has? She have accidental life insurance, saying that if this man died by accident, he's entitled to $300,000. He just died of a natural cause, so he's only going to get $35. That became an opportunity and a window for the insurance agent to say to the woman. She persuaded the woman and told her, hey, you need to get something for yourself. So the woman got a whole life. I didn't know how much she got, and I'm not kidding. Last month, in the month of this is April, in the month of February, this same lady died. She was at home. She told the son, I can't breathe. The son rushed her to the hospital. By the time they got to the hospital, she said she wanted to use the restroom. She went to the restroom inside the hospital. Right there, she screamed, collapsed, and that was it. She was gone. She died. So the children started calling the insurance. So this woman told the first son, I said, hey, I have a policy. This is my agent. Call my agent. So the agent thought it was a scam. So the agent called me because I was the one that introduced the woman to her. He said, is Mrs. So-and-so dead? I said, I'm not sure. That can't be true because this woman is still young. She's in her early 60s. She's just 64. So I said, okay, let me call somebody in New York and find out whether it is true. But I forgot. The following day, the agent called me back and said, hey, Pastor, I confirm. The second son just called me. This woman died right in the hospital. And then I asked the man, he said the children were crying because they just graduated from university. It's only the first one that is working. The other twins were not working. And they said they don't know how they are going to do the burial of the mom. And the agent said, don't worry, your mother had a policy. Then I asked him, what policy does the woman have? She said she has a $100,000 whole life. And he said the woman, the policy has also built some cash value, which is about $20,000 on top between 2020 and 2025. They just had the burial last month, March the 9th. Now, so when I show you proofs that look, death, and this is one of the way I prospect to people, just like we stand talk. Nobody's allergic to money. I tell you about the side also, the making money and also protecting yourself. So I present this to you, one, as a protection plan, two, as an investment for yourself. So when I show you those two sides, which do you want to go for? Do you want it as a protection? Do you want it as an investment? Or do you want it as a business to grow yourself? I see people jumping in. And just like Miss Ann said, don't, you see, sometimes one of the errors I made, I'm going to be honest with you, and this is so funny. One of the guys in my church, this guy is a PhD. He was with HP. So I look at all these guys who has PhD, they are the IT. I say, oh, this boy, they are smart. Oh, I don't need to tell them, they already have all this stuff. So I'm talking to them, I was shocked. With all the education, majority of them don't have nothing. They just bank on their life on stocks exchange. Oh, we are going to make some salary. And then there was a dude that this guy, I know naturally is a stingy person. He doesn't like to play with money. So when I was telling people about this business, is the last person I did not talk to him. I said, I'm not going to tell this one. He is not going to come. Now, all the people that I know, they are givers, they are good. I talk to them. None of them bought my policy. So I traveled to London. I came back. And this one that I refused to talk to, somebody told him that I'm doing this business. He told me by himself. I said, oh, I learned you're doing this. I said, yeah. And he said, okay, can you do some illustration for me? I did illustration. And at the end of the day, okay, I will buy 500. In my mind, I said, I know you are not going to even buy it. I don't even who even said they should tell you. But I was shocked. This guy started doing his due diligence, did everything. And then he told me, okay, I'll buy 500. I said, okay, no. Then later on, he came back to me and said, I am not buying 500 in my mind. I said, there we go. I knew you are not going to buy. He said, sir, I am going to buy $1 million. He said, what? He said, 1 million. I said, what happened? He said, I spoke to my financial advisor in our company. This dude worked in one of the IT companies, HP. He said, the financial advisor asked me, how much is your house? I said, my house is worth $800,000. He said, how old is your wife? How old are your children? He said, he gave them the number. The guy said, if you buy $500,000 policy, you are under insured. You either get a $1 million or a $2 million. That became the first person. So I came back with this notion. Let's judge a book by its cover. The one I thought was not going to buy was the first person I bought. I said, Father, forgive me in the name of Jesus. Because judge this book. This dude is very shrewd with money. And honestly speaking, that became a game changer for me. Now I told myself, I am not going to assume that somebody knows this or somebody does not need this. The highest you are going to tell me is a no. You can tell me a no today and tell me a yes tomorrow. I have another testimony. There is a lady I've been trying to prosper in the last 2 years. Every time I talk to this lady, you will tell me, I'm not ready, I'm not ready, I'm not ready. And we have this culture in the African community where we respect our pastor, we call them daddy and all the rest. I said, Daddy, I'm not ready. And one day I finished service and this lady walked up to me and said, Sir, are you still doing that business? I said, yes. I said, can we have a Zoom meeting? I think I'm ready now. I was like, oh my God, heaven is open for me. And I see people who I've spoken to. Sir, I want to say to those who are watching us, whether on YouTube or wherever you are watching on live or you are on this Zoom, the fact that somebody rejects you, don't get angry, don't get bitter. They are still going to come back. But they don't get it now. They are going to get it later. So like Miss Anne said, keep talking to people as long as they have eyes, they have ears, they have legs, they can walk, they can understand. Keep listening to them. If they are going to say to you is no, and there is no crime in saying no to you. The fact that they said no today does not mean they are not going to say yes tomorrow. So I have of all the people I've written policy for, I have about 7 or 8 people who have said me to me. They came back on their own and to say yes. And now they are bringing people. And the most interesting thing is that when I also see other potential agent in this for this job, there's a lady that came to my office. I was trying to help them with some paperwork concerning immigration. And I was talking to her. And I love when Dr. Jeremiah do this most of the time. When he shows you the numbers, oh boy. So this woman came to my office and I just used Dr. Adaki's strategy. All I needed to do was, I said, she told me I'm somewhere, I'm doing this. I said, let me show you numbers. I said, have you made this kind of money? I just went into show her my projection, show her the money I've made in the last 2-3 months. He said, Pastor, I want to come under you. I said, there is room for you in this place. That there is room. And another thing that Miss Anne said is about dressing nice. On Monday, we had a Zoom meeting with Dr. Stella Nwabunike and the husband, Mr. Nwabunike. And Mr. Nwabunike said something. You need to smell money. You need to look money. This was Monday call. Monday evening with Dr. Adake. Yesterday, I suit up. And my wife said, why are you all dressed up? Where are you going? I said, they told us if we are going to attract money, we need to look at the money. So I suited up since yesterday because I'm in Silicon Valley. The boys said they don't wear suit, they're just t-shirt guys, tech guys. So I said, okay, I got to let's see how this thing works. Now that became a game changer for me. And another thing that has helped me prospecting is every Monday morning 8:30 a.m. in San Jose, which is about, I think that should be about 11:30 or so in East Coast. Every Monday morning we have this power talk with Mr. Adam Katz. I'm not kidding. That power talk has become something that I'm looking forward to. It becomes my weekly. This is my weekly motivation multivitamin, because this man comes there every Monday morning. This is sharing some powerful phrases, quoting some books. Any books you have quoted during Power Talk, Mr. Adams, I have bought all of them. Because for me, it's not just about hearing it. I want to read it. For me, one of the reasons I love to read biographies. I don't care how much money you have. I don't care how much billions you have. Show me how you are able to get the millions. Your biography tells me what you have been through, what you survived, so that when I begin to meet those others, I tell myself, Miss Anne survived the loss of a child. Mr. Adam survived this. Mrs. Nwabunike survived this. Mrs. Bridget survived it. So when they come to me, I go back to those books and say, I need to survive. If they can survive, I can survive. So I get the money at the surface. Show me how to get the money. Show me what I need to, the orders I need to cross. So when those obstacle comes, I am not discouraged. The fact that I don't have it today, or if I fail today, does not mean I'm going to fail tomorrow. So every Monday Power Talk with Adam Katz, every Monday coaching with Jeremiah Daki and all the people that they bring here today and all the rest, Miss here tonight and all the rest, is for me has been phenomenal. Those things motivates me. And I want, in fact, I think one of the training, on Monday, Mrs. Yetunde was talking about he said, when you're talking to people and you want to close them, don't leave them. He said, make sure you close them. Or somebody said you should call them and you did not remember to call. As he was talking, I remember there was a guy that said we should have a meeting. The previous week, I did not call the guy. He muted my Zoom, closed my camera. I called the guy. I said, hey, buddy, where you? Say, I'm in Maryland. I said, we got to do that thing. He said, can we do it now? He said, Pastor, let's do it tomorrow. I said, tomorrow, 11 a.m. Every talks. You want, sincerely, Dr. Jeremiah said something to me, and which is very powerful. He said, try to attend trainings because you don't know what something new you are going to hear that is going to help you for the next level. For me, it has been a game changer. So power talk. Interview with me like Adam Katz, the motivational speaker for Alliance for us for IUL. Make sure you join. Everybody, even with the hierarchy, you want to join because Dr. Adak is there, is fire up. And I like Dr. Adak is very passionate, very aggressive. And I'm trying to get that part of that anointing, to be able to get it. Because for me, it's about showing the people that this thing is not just about the money. So it's not about the commission, it's about the mission of protecting life, the mission of securing people. I love what Miss Ann said. I don't want people to die in my church, and I'm going to do GoFundMe for you. Even as a pastor, if God forbid, if anything happens in the church, I'm still going to give you. Maximum will contribute for you is $5,000 or $10,000. What is that going to do for you and your family? So I show people the number. This is the joy you can have when the whole thing is done.
That is incredible. I need to fly out there and come to one of your church services. Yeah, I mean, I can imagine how passionate you are on the pulpit. So, all right, Adebayo, thank you so much. I realized I did not give Ann's statistics that currently her and her team are having their best month yet. She is at over $137,000 for the team issue paid production. She is all over EVP this month. We're still waiting for a couple more days of reporting to come in, but her team is on fire. She's an unbelievable leader. And thank you, Ann, for joining us. Thank you, Adebayo, for joining us. If we can, let's bring up Bridget and Stella, and we'll continue this conversation. All righty, there is Miss Stella, and there's Miss Bridget. Do we have all three? Oh, there we go. Okay, so we got all three of us. Let me start with some statistics on both of these ladies and their origins. So Bridget, last month, actually this month, they've already passed what they did last month. She's over $317,000 team production, and one of the most impressive things is one of the things that we track. That the Alliance keeps us aware of and that we track on our team is how's your structure? She has 12 issue paid legs, 39 unique riders. 39 unique riders, and over $109,000 of production outside of her strongest two legs. So she has a phenomenal organization, qualified junior board member 2, and just continuing to move up the ranks. Stella's numbers, while we're talking numbers, Stella Nwabuniki down in Houston and her husband Anthony, last month they issue paid as a team $539,000 issue paid production. They had 62 unique riders, and they were recognized EVP for the first month. And just incredible leaders, incredible ladies, incredible organizations. And so we're going to kind of run through some of the same questions that we did with Adebayo and with Ann. So why don't we start with Bridget? We'll start with you. If you will, just kind of tell us a little bit about your background and your education, and kind of how you got to the Alliance.
Thank you so much, Adam. My name is Bridget. I was brought into the Alliance by Jeremiah Daki. I have a bachelor's in agriculture in Nigeria, and then accountants back in Nigeria, and here I'm a cloud security engineer. So I'm a mom of three. And one thing I say is that I moved to the United States about 8 years ago, and I live in Maryland, Baltimore, Maryland. So, yeah.
Excellent, excellent. And you're still working full time. You still have a full. It's semi flexible. It does not prevent you from traveling the country, serving your team. Doesn't prevent you from doing things with your children and all of that. So I mean, you have a great environment to do that with. And I love this story. You've tried quitting multiple times, and every time you go to quit, what do they tell you?
Yeah, I have an amazing relationship, or I have an amazing boss, and the work environment is awesome. I used to have like another job which I quit because the work environment, the pressure, and everything was not. I couldn't cope. But with the job I work right now, it's very, very flexible. So, and my work hours most times, you can always do this, and I tell people I do this because I want to show you as my agent that having a 9 to 5 job is not a limitation to you growing a business. Being a mom, a full-time mom that is very handsome with my children, is not a limitation to growing this business. So I want to meet people where they are. So if you're giving me, I have a job, that's why I cannot do this. I tell you that I built my schedule by working. I would close from my 9 to 5 at 5 p.m. and then start my appointments at 7 p.m. or 8 p.m. I'll put my kids to bed, So if I can do it as a mom, if I can do it with a 9 to 5 job, you can also do it. So, yeah.
You are not going to be well liked, Bridget, because you just eliminated so many people's excuses that they've been holding on to as to why they can't be successful at the Alliance, and so now you just kind of zapped multiple excuses in one 2-minute talk. So just incredible. And we were looking. We did a Zoom call with Bridget last night, and it had that projection. She logged into her ARC. Would you mind sharing what your current run rate is?
Okay. I don't have permission to share.
Oh no, you don't have to show it. Just tell us what it was.
Okay.
Your current run rate, income wise.
Currently tracking for about 720,000 in annual income.
Not a bad side hustle. We're just so proud of you, Bridget. Congratulations. You have a phenomenal team. And none of this exists without our next guest, Stella Nwabunike. So I guess I should also give Emily Cardillo a lot of credit as well. Emily was 18 years in the making. Emily is our daughter, mine and Beth's daughter, and she jumped into the Alliance part-time and went full-time as soon as she finished college. And Emily is the one who found Stella, and Stella is just has a phenomenal business. Like I said, executive vice president, over $500,000 issue paid. And so, Stella, if you would tell us a little bit about your background and how long you've been in the States and all of that, and how you kind of found your way to the Alliance. Stella, you're muted.
Yes. Thank you, everyone. My name is Stella, and I'm a mother of 4, married. I have a bachelor in business, and I've been in America since 1997.
Oh,
so
okay.
Yes, 1997. So I started in beauty industry. I started with a business, like I have a braiding shop in Charlotte, North Carolina. We lived there for 10 good years. So within 2 years, I was able to have my 2 businesses, like 2 businesses, and bought a home. And so when it comes to coming to America, I already have this dream about having insurance, because when my father died, I was only 16, and all his dream he had about his children was shattered. So it's always a thing in my mind, like, why can't people have insurance? When I was young, like, if they have insurance, none of He's like everything he wished for his kids. Sorry about that.
Take your time.
He was left my mom with bunch of responsibilities. She wasn't prepared because she died of car accident. So all my time when I was having kids, I'm always like, if anything happened to me, what will happen to my children? So it's always thing I always have. Like I will have a little bit I don't want to put on the kids because nobody has showed me what it takes like to start building IUL for the kids. If I've known that, I would have gotten extra job just for that. Because if you see the illustration, it's worth it. So it's something I know, like I always do. So when I got the opportunity and they explained the illustration, I got $1 million. That was before I even started doing the business. They got me registered. I never know that I was registered to do the business. So the guy was calling me, when are you gonna take the exam? But I couldn't because I have my businesses. I have 3 salons in Houston. So I was busy, but I was telling him, come to work it. Because I have a whole lot of clients. You can start selling this. So not until 2 years ago. So I have opportunity again to start doing this. So to me, it's not just the money. I really don't go into this because of money. But each time I get a family cover, make sure I know that I give this family a peace of mind. So that is the most important thing, that if anything happens, not even when you die, because what I tell my client, we are not talking about something that will happen when you die. It's something that will protect you in case you get sick. So when you get sick, some of these insurance companies will pay you up to 90%, meaning that your lifestyle will still be the same, and you might even recover from whatever the problem that hits you. So when I say that, and people listen more when you start showing them how this policy looks like, because they don't understand. But when they see how this perform, how this vehicle perform, they will ask you like, is that all I have to pay for a year? Okay, yeah, that's all. Or if they tell you they don't have the money, that's when they become a prospect. You recruit them, because you can do what I'm doing. From what your commission will service your premium. So that's how we sell. So this is a business, and the fact that what is happening right now, the kind of fun, the kind of money coming, it's just amazing. It's like something you do a little, because I don't see too much job. If I can do it, everybody can do it. I am very busy. I got my license in insurance and also got my real estate license at the same time. But I see it's so difficult for me to do the two. So I was doing the real estate part-time. Also, I have aged mother to take care of, but still, I still go out and recruit and start trying to gather everybody together. So it's amazing what this business is doing, and I believe everybody can do it. If everybody can be your client out there, everybody can do this, because everyone out there, 100%, is your customer. They don't know it. Sometimes they thought they have what they need, but when you go deep, you find out that 85% of people that we talk to don't even have the good policy for themselves. So that makes it easy for us to sell. So it's difficult, at the same time, it's very easy if you show them the right illustration, especially when they do it with you. When you bring them close to design this with you, they keep going up on the number. They want to see what the number looks like. If I can do 500, how will it be if I do 1,000? And I tell business owners, you don't have anything, like you don't have no 401k. Why not put 10% of this into your premium? And you have access to it. You can always become your own banker from there. So
I love it. I love it. And so, I mean, look, you've heard it from all of them. First thing is this: they were clients first. Mm-hmm. The first step of Andy Albright's 8 steps to success is personal use. You have to own what it is you're trying to sell. And I promise you, they're not funding their IULs with $50 a month, which is why they're not scared to talk about the higher dollar amounts. And the other thing that I'm just hearing from all four of these folks is it is so ingrained in them. They don't have to wonder what they're supposed to say. We used to always talk about with the phone script that you ought to be able to be woken up at 2 o'clock in the morning from a deep sleep, and somebody gives you an objection, and you ought to have those objections so deep in your mindset. I already took care of it. Great. That makes my job even easier. From a deep sleep, you ought to be able to do that from the phone script. These folks can do the same thing on their IUL presentation. They have talked to so many people. They've overcome the objections. They know what to highlight. They have studied their craft. They have mastered the craft of understanding the product and how to explain it and what motivates people. So phenomenal. So Bridget, if you would talk to us more about how you do your prospecting, and how you were able to grow your organization so quickly. Fastest to junior board member, I believe in the history of the Alliance. Issue paying 12 legs is just phenomenal. We've always all of these folks have great structure, but I've always almost within the first 90 days, Bridget's structure was just incredible. So what are the things you do when you're going out to talk to people? How do you prospect people? How do you get referrals from these same people, and then how do you turn them into business partners, not just clients?
So the first thing is I do a lot of my warm markets, and I'm not very good with the phone script. And getting people, I think the biggest thing about how your clients would is trust, right? You have to have a lot of integrity. Integrity is very big for me. It's something that my father ingrained in us. And that is why when I found this opportunity, I liked the fact that I had a license to practice. It was legal. I could make money. So once I had all of those checked out and I knew that my conscience was very clear, it was easy for me to, oh my God, my laptop. So it was easy for me to, when I communicate this with people, and then I show them the opportunity using myself, and it's easy for them to speak your language because now they see it. Like you said, it's first use. So when they see it and they know that, okay, Bridget is using this as a leverage. I always tell people that I'm going to be 39 this year. I'm 40 next year. And my goal is to retire with multiple streams of income running for me. So when I tell them everybody wants to build multiple streams of income, they don't just know how to. And here you don't have you don't have to buy anything. Your greatest asset is your mouth. So we don't have to worry about the tariffs that Trump is bringing in. I'm not buying anything. All you have to do is swallow your ego and just, tell somebody about the opportunity, demonstrate it. And I think the way you break it down, the way you have to own it, right? Owning it and showing people want to see that as you can tell me about this opportunity without reflecting the opportunity in your life. I have close to a $10 million policy on myself. And I'm going to tell a story. In my community, we're very passionate about education. So a lot of parents and the people I talk to, they're looking for, how do I avoid a student loan for my child? How do I do that? So I show them, my son turned 10 in April. He already had a $1 million policy. And something I'll tell you, Adam, our entertainment culture, our food culture, my people would, throw a birthday party and spend $25,000 on that birthday party. I'm like, I didn't do that because I'm trying to leave a legacy. So I didn't do that for my child. What I did was I gave him a $100 gift card and I said, you have this budget to tell me what you want, and this other money, this 20,000 or this 35,000, I'm going to set up another policy for you and I'm going to max fund it and you're going to see it grow. So I rather do that than, and people want to see that because we don't want to pay the student loan. I see medical doctors, you're spending 10, 6 years in college, and then you owe $500,000. And, I'm making close to $700,000 a year. And how much did I get my insurance license? $500. It doesn't make sense because I don't have any debt to pay, but you're rich and you have a degree and you had to go to school for 10 years, but now you have to pay student loan, you have to work overtime, no, I don't want to do that. So when I show them these things, it's more relatable because that is the life. People want to live the life, but they want somebody to show them that this thing is possible. So when I do that and I demonstrate it and I show them the value in joining me in business, and I always say, let it be service first. As a leader, you have to be ready to serve. You cannot be selfish. You cannot be greedy. When you serve, people will naturally come to you because now they see you that you really want to help them. So don't let the money come first. Money is going to come. Like, I'm not moved by money. I'm more moved by service to people and the families I'm able to help. So, yeah.
That's awesome, and I mean, and that's what you just hear over and over again is, keep the mission ahead of the commission, serve from the heart, look for ways to add value to people. So talk to us more, Bridget, about how you get referrals. Because obviously, you start with your warm market, but we all have limits to our warm market. Most of us aren't in environments where we know 10,000 people that we can continually pull from. So if somebody who's already gone through their warm market, maybe they didn't do a very good job of getting referrals, or maybe they didn't get any referrals. What are some things you would tell somebody on how to continue the conversation beyond just the person you sold to?
Recruit, like Anne said, recruit. When you recruit people into the business, that's a new warm market. Because if I speak to Adam has people that I can talk to. So I'm going to tap into Adam's warm market. And then if I recruit Stella has a new warm market. So if I go through my entire warm market, me just recruiting people, and I caught that philosophy very fast in my business because I was more like, I wasn't so concerned about the commission. I was like, how many more people? I'm also a weight loss coach, so I meet a lot of women who want to lose weight and everything. I meet a lot of women who are overwhelmed by motherhood because they get pregnant, they are home, they have to stop their job, they have to pay for daycare. So I was like, a lot of people at first were not writing policy, but I wanted to get them into the business because I knew that once they caught it and saw the potential, then I could tap in. So the policy is going to come. And that was it for me. So when I get into the business, the first thing for me is I either get into the business when I get into a meeting. If you're not ready to write a policy, then I must recruit you. We're not leaving that meeting without either one of them. Like, you either write a policy or you're joining me in business. So if I don't have a warm market, you are going to have a warm market. And once you pass your exam, I'm helping you. I'm walking you through. I'm holding your hand, and we're conquering together. And whoever you bring, let's say you bring 10 more people and we're only able to get one more person. And so we repeat the process with that person. And that's how you spread out, right? So that was it for me when it comes to building my business and just helping people become independent and running with them and teaching them how to grow the business. So when I grow you, I move on to the other person. And that's it for me.
Awesome. I think there's a perception out there, and I had this perception also when I first started working with this team, is that nobody ever tells you guys no.
Oh.
And that it's just the culture, and they're just lucky because they're from Africa, they're from Nigeria, they're from Cameroon, and they have this warm market where people trust each other, and so they can just pull from all these successful Nigerians. And I can't do that as that because I don't know people who make a lot of money and so what I'm hearing through this call is you're running through the numbers just like everybody else has to run through the numbers. Stella, if you would talk a little bit more about that, in the sense of, hey, not everybody we talk to is sitting there with a $1,500 bank draft ready to be authorized. Talk about the process, and how do you keep yourself motivated as you go through the numbers and get the no's that ultimately, especially in a higher end market, you're going to get more no's. It's than if you were just trying to sell a $30 a month final expense policy.
Yeah, I would say that the more no that I get me closer to the yes. So the more people tell you no, that's okay. But there's something for everybody. IUL, it doesn't have to be big numbers. When we show them big numbers, they get greedy, but you start from their level. So we still have policy that will give you enough. When you're showing them 100,000, they haven't seen before, it's big for them. But when you start running to two big numbers like 500,000, they like it. And now they can't even go back to the smaller number because they already seen the big number. So you know who to show what. So I had a lady in North Carolina. I met her in North Carolina. So when I showed her how this policy looks like, at the beginning, she didn't have no money. But when we go through her budget, so she said that I'm going to pay my storage. I'm like, how much are you paying in that storage? 200. What you paying there, is it what is in the storage, or can I run a illustration for you to see how much $200 a month can get you? So when we did that, she was amazed. Like, what? She said I got her policy right now. I got to write it. So she said she will just remove whatever in her, make it space, then use the same money and do the policy. But when I show her baby own, so she asked me, is it all I can pay a year, 2,000 for a year? So I'm writing both the policy now, and she's coming in the business. So sometimes you have to reason with people. You're gonna go through their budget. If you go through their budget, you see they're wasting some money that could go through to their policy. And sometimes they don't understand that this IUL is like a bank. Whatever you put in there, you have access to, until they understand that this is not a bill. And the way it's designed, if you show them that even when things get tough, you can do the minimum. There's a minimum, there's maximum you can pay. You can even go some months, it's not going to last based on what you have funded in this policy. So we are going around helping people because they don't have no idea. It's just the more awareness. And what I do these days, everybody that comes close to me, any conversation, I'm just finding a way to change it around. That's what I normally do. I'll find a way, and I must find a way to change it. Either I ask her, which company are you with? They're like, which company policy are you with? From there, they're like, I don't have, or I do, or if it's time. So you can explain what time is. Sometimes they don't understand what time is. So from there, they can call their company and you write a policy. So it's just a business, and the more you get into it, it starts making sense and easier. For now, it's easier for me. Recruiting right now is nothing to me now, because sometimes people will tell you, I'm looking for W-2 business, like that will pay W-2. I'm like, okay, it's okay, but since our company is offering this for free, why not come in here and see what your strength is? You don't know. Why not give it a try? You don't have anything to lose. So from there, they were like, okay, I can try. And the next thing you do is to make sure you hold them. Like, don't leave them more than 2 days without reaching out. The more you reach out to people, they start believing you and trusting you and do what you do. So that's the everyday we learn. We're still learning, because these are just sudden. We are all learning. I can't tell you I know everything, but for what I'm going through, the challenges I'm going through, I'm coming out with a plan and a solution. So that's what we're doing right now.
Awesome. So process. They all have processes. They all have their go-to questions that they ask. They've learned how to steer the conversation to where they want it to go. There's no randomness to this. I love this call because it's just laying it out there for people. And I know everybody wants it given to them on a silver platter. Well, what exactly is their first question? And then what's their second question? And when they say this, what did they say there? If you will go through the process and develop your process, those questions become very self-evident. And so, Bridget, kind of wrapping us up today, give people hope out there. Can people born in the United States have the same success as the immigrants that have come into the country and have taken the alliance by storm? Give us hope that it's not cultural. It's more about who you are as a person. Doesn't matter where you came from, what you've done in life. It's where you're going. So just talk to us about your mental focus and your mental strength when it comes to that.
I believe that a lot of your success is gonna come from your mindsets, and I tell the story a lot. I'm the last of 7 children, and I don't know what you've heard about last born children, but we're very spoiled. Like, we're very spoiled and we're very lazy and we don't like to get things done. So that's kind of how I grew up. And this whole new personality of who Bridget is, if you were to call my mom, she would be like, I don't know who this new Bridget is, because she watched me grow up, didn't want to do anything. And I feel that what changed my life was when I knew that nobody was coming to save me. Nobody's coming to save you. Nobody. So you have to hold yourself accountable. There's so many excuses. I have so many excuses. I'm a mom of 3. My hands are full. I have a very big community right now. I am overwhelmed. I tell Adam so many times, I'm like this team that is growing, I don't know how I'm gonna handle it. I'm overwhelmed, but I don't let those things deter me when it comes to the negativity of, okay, I get a rejection. I used to be pretty mad initially when someone would say no to me, but I had to overcome and pull myself from that mindset, right? And I'm like, if I'm going to work a 9-to-5 job, you're going to that job and you're putting in the same amount of energy, you're putting in the same amount of work. You probably don't have a good boss. They piss you off every day. They cuss you out. You have to leave the house. You have to get into traffic. You have to pay a daycare to take care of your kids, right? When I think about all of those limitations, I'm like, why don't I just push through? Because whether you work in a 9-to-5 job or you build this business, you have to overcome rejection some way, or life is going to give you life is going to life, right? You're going to have all of those things, that would come up in life. But you have to be mentally ready to tell yourself that I constantly have to pull myself out of it. If today doesn't work, let me brush up and start again tomorrow. So you have to keep working it. And I feel that so many people want things easy. And so when it doesn't work out the first time, they're like, okay, I'm not going to do it. I don't want to put in the work. You have to understand that even with you eating right, with you exercising, everything requires a lot of discipline. There's not going to always be motivation, but when you have discipline, discipline is going to pull you through. So I rather always work with someone who's disciplined than someone who has motivation, because you're not going to be motivated every day. But if I know you have discipline and then I know you have integrity, it tells me a lot about if you're going to put in the work. Right. So no, I don't have it easy. There's a lot going on in my life, but every day I decide that I am going to push through, because I rather do it now that I'm young, right, than have to do it when I'm 65. So whether you like it or not, the work has to be done. So are you going to brace up, suck it up and do what you need to do? Or are you going to wait 10, 15, 20 years later and regret that you didn't have to do it? Yeah. So, yeah.
Awesome. Pain of regret, pain of failure, pain of success. Choose your pain.
Yeah.
Suck it up, Buttercup. I love that. Stella, I love your passion. I love your passion. I loved what Bridget said. She chose to change who she was. She grew up one way, decided she didn't like what that was leading to, totally changed. There's a great book out there by Benjamin Hardy. It's called Personality Isn't Permanent. Andy Albright has promoted that book many times, and it talks about your personality as a choice. So those of you going around saying I'm shy, I'm introverted, no, you have those tendencies, but you are what you choose to be. And the 4 people we had on today's call have chosen to be winners. They've chosen to be successful. They've chosen to be persistent and consistent. And they've chosen to make a difference in other people's lives, regardless of the circumstances coming at them. And that's something unique to find. But I promise you this, they're not the last 4 out there. And so we're in the hunt looking for one more. We're expanding, we're growing daily, and we're just so proud of this team. Thank you all, Ann, Adebayo, Bridget, Stella. Thank you guys for joining us and sharing with the Alliance Nation your heart, and just a few tips on why you guys are having the success you're having, and can't wait to hear more from you guys. Alliance Nation, look forward to seeing you as we travel the country doing these different meetings and things like that. Don't forget product call tomorrow, 1:00 Eastern, and the activity call Friday morning, 10 a.m. Eastern. So a great way to start the day with a cup of coffee for those of you on the West Coast. So love you guys. Appreciate it big time. Thank you so much. Tia, thank you for everything. Andy Albright, thank you for trusting us with the call. Take care, guys.
Thank you. Bye.